Seawolves, and welcome back to the show. Wow, what a cool time that was yesterday. Thank you for all your comments and well, some spectacular images to start with, I guess, today. And I got so many comments about the shot with the rainbow yesterday. So since we have to do a toast anyway, I hope you all have something delicious in your, hopefully, official Seawolf mug. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's check out those rainbows just one more time. Cheers, Wolves. Nice, huh? Yeah, the shots are getting prettier and prettier and a little bit more violent also. It is noticeable, by the way, because I get to see the entire media server every day throughout the day, that a lot of the skippers are uploading a lot less now, which makes sense. I think that's something that we're going to see actually over the next weeks. That, you know, it's easy to think, oh yeah, they're doing some very extreme sailing out there, so they're going to do lots of you know, filming and showing us that. But I know from experience, when you're kind of in hot weather and trying to, you know, take good watches, and well, there's always something to do, always something breaking, always something to adjust, that it's actually quite difficult to find the time to really film something. So I'm very curious to see how much of the more extreme stuff we will actually get to see. But of course, here's to hoping that we will get there. Funny side note, many of you, I think, also noticed yesterday that of course, we had the question of, do some of the skippers actually watch Seawolves? Well, now I guess we have absolutely the 100% proof, as Conrad Coleman was commenting in the comments below the video yesterday. And a fun fact, we're kind of like talking about maybe having him join in the next Q&A session. So I'm already telling you right now, if you have specific questions for Conrad, put them in the questions below, because then I can put it to him. And well, we're working out the details. But could be a lot of fun. So that's probably on Monday or Tuesday. So you can put it in the agenda already. Of course, if he has time, right? That's an important caveat. Now, let's get to the news of today, because quite a few things going on. Sam had a little problem yesterday with his rudder.
Hello, just had a little bit of a rudder issue. So the bottom bearing here, there's a bushing in there which was all eaten up, so I had to take the pin out, change the bushing and put the rudder back on. So a little bit of a mission, but we've just managed it. Before the big waves come in, we've probably got 3 meters here, and we're waiting for 6. I'm quite happy about that. I'm tired now. See ya.
So fortunately fixed. I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess it kicked up. So he has those rudders that can kind of sort of go down and go up. And sometimes the bearing, there's kind of a pin on that. So sometimes they just get kicked up. It's kind of a safety measure when they hit something also. But then the pin breaks, and so I guess he had to replace it. But after some effort, he's now well underway with the rudder working again. So no big worries there. Pip still working on, well, several of the breakages that you saw in the video there. No word on if she actually succeeded yet in repairing the sail, but she was in a bit more lighter winds, so I hope that it worked out. And she did cross the Cape in kind of good spirits. Here, take a good look.
Hi. So we passed the Cape of Good Hope early hours of this morning. Yeah, that hopefully is kind of a sign off for, I would say, around 48 hours of utter brutality. So yesterday, obviously I spent all day repairing things. 14 hours straight I worked. And but I'm quite pleased. I'm quite pleased with the work I've done. Got a nice new furling line, red furling line over there. I've rerouted both of my furling lines because I think they, well, I mean, I've already destroyed that's my second furling line I've been through, and I've had to basically use a spare halyard now as a furling line. So we can't carry on like this. So I had a really good look at the routes on deck, and I've rerouted them. Obviously repaired a sail, and most proud of all, I built a relay out of two knackered relays. Now, bearing in mind yesterday, I didn't even know what a relay was. I'm feeling quite proud about that. Um, so the next couple of days are going to be interesting. The pace is picking up. Um, in fact, right now while I'm filming, the breeze has just dropped. So I kind of got all the gear on, and I've got yeah, I'm kind of like at a children's party. It feels like at the moment. But honestly, when I got all my stuff out to film, we were doing 25 knots. So yeah, we are in conditions that are only going to worsen, and they're the kind of conditions where the boat really, really takes off. So next few days, I've got to really look after the boat, look after myself, and try and sleep as well, because I'm in a bit of a sleep deficit at the moment.
So looking at least a lot more optimistic than yesterday when she had all these breakages. So far so good in that regard, and of course I wish her well. Interesting also to see that Boris had a bit of I don't know, just seemed a little bit down. He also made a video about it.
Okay, I will tack now. Well, this is the first tack since a very long time. And normally we're not tacking in the Southern Ocean. We should be diving downwind, but the low pressure went away. We're now in a high, and the wind is turning against us. But tonight we should already be reaching again. So, hey guys, I really had a big mental downer this morning. I will tell you more about it later. I will also try to appear differently. I'm not well. I'm tired, and I look crazy, I guess. And look, my boat looks crazy too. All this shit. Oh my god, I didn't manage to clean up. I had so much work last night, I couldn't sleep. But I did the coolest MacGyver thing. I'm so proud of that. Look at this. This was my invention of the distant grip to catch something. I will tell you more about it later. So now we're tacking, and I see you after on the other side. Let's go south.
Yeah, so not feeling so great, but MacGyvering away. A little later, he made actually also a very cool shot of kind of like the bedroom on Malizia, which looks really amazing with like the sticky stars on the ceiling. Pretty cool. And cool that you can see in the backdrop also how big, like, they're really in the big waves now. And for those of you who are wondering, like, how high do the seas actually get? Well, in very bad weather in the Southern Ocean, but this is more in winter time because it's a bit more extreme then, and then cold air is heavier than warm air, so that kind of exacerbates everything. So that's not now. But in the Clipper race, for example, there are plenty of stories of waves that were like in the 20-meter high range that they were surfing and stuff like that. So there really is the possibility of having very, very high waves. And you know, in this big low that is kind of coming by in the top areas, we're also having waves that are like 6 or 8 meters high. So they are like really building size waves. I remember I actually sailed in the Indian Ocean also a few times myself, lived there for a while, and it's quite intimidating, but also kind of actually quite comfortable once you get used to it, when you have these like very big Indian Ocean rollers, because I remember myself also, now this was not in very bad weather or anything, but they were like very big rollers, and it literally is like sailing up a mountain and then sort of surfing down a mountain. I remember we were with 2 boats and we could literally see the boat behind us disappear behind the wave behind us, and then like as the wave would go down, you'd see the boat sort of come over and skate down. It really is a little bit like you know, biking through a mountain landscape. It's quite intimidating, especially the first few hours that you're in that, but you do kind of get used to it, and most of the time the waves are quite far apart. So when the waves are that big, the surfing down thing is very intimidating, and like I talked about in the 5 dangers of the Southern Ocean video specifically, there's always a bit the danger of broaching, so it's just something that also with the skippers relying on their autopilots a lot, it's something you have to really trust your autopilot to surf waves, because that can go wrong in a heartbeat if you get just on the wrong side, or if you gust, the wind changes just a little bit, that can cause some real problems. But it's an interesting environment that they're all in, so I hope that we get some great video of that also. Okay, so that was it for the updates. Join me here for the technical analysis. What we're seeing is that, of course, Charlie's still very much in the lead, Sebastian Simon right behind. Yom and Thomas Ruyant, kind of very similar location, but much more towards the north. And you can see how the curvature of the Earth here really affects, you know, the length of the course. So if you do this yourself at home, and you like, especially if you move it around a lot, you really get that 3D image, which is kind of cool from this tracker in particular, where you can really see that kind of the next point on the map here, you know, is going to be a lot closer. That's going to be, I think, probably 200 mile or so different. To kind of get through, you know, Cape of Lewin compared to where Joon and Thomas Ruyant, and of course also the rest of the guys who've gone more higher have gone. At the same time, you can clearly see that the worst stuff is still behind kind of the leaders. And so over the next 24 hours or so, that's when they are actually going to dive into the worst of the weather, and where we will see if this, you know, quote unquote gamble is going to be worth it, in the sense that they've been kind of in the more easier, not easy, but easier stuff of that low pressure so far. But the really tough stuff is coming now. That's kind of following them now, and will be with them within like 10 or 12 hours or so. And that's when we will see if there's any, you know, price to pay for the risks, let's say, that they took. And we'll see also how the choice of kind of all of the skippers that went more higher, how that will pay off. But everybody at the moment doing really good speeds. I mean, Charlie's doing 24 knots, Sebastian 21, and the guys upstairs a little bit more conservative, 18, 19, 20 knots, but of course in flatter seas. So all in all, I think in the next episode we'll know a lot more about if this gamble actually really paid off, or if there's any, you know, hopefully not heavy prices to pay, or just inconvenient damages that came from that. Then the second group, we see Samantha Davis and Justine Metro, kind of on a similar height also, but Samantha kind of in a bad spot with the new high that's kind of appeared behind the low, and so that kind of puts the whole threesome here in a better position. Interesting to see, by the way, also, I discussed yesterday that Clarice Kramer was kind of convinced that she probably would fall off of this group and have to join kind of this next group that's going to come after her. But it seems that at least for the last 24 hours, she's managed to stay quite close to Boris. She's about, I think, 50 nautical miles or so. Yeah, about 55 miles or so behind him. So it's not exactly that they're like in visual range, but she still managed to hold on pretty good. So good on her, I guess. And, you know, making good speed also now, 20 knots. So that's excellent. Same goes for the group after. They're in good wind, all doing good speeds. And then, of course, we have the kind of foiler and non-foiler group that have since, you know, passed the Cape, or at least most of them, all in very strong winds, but so far so good. And we have the group that's behind them, that are a few foilers that really are, you know, starting to fall a bit more further behind. We see Manuel Cosin, we see Fabrice Amadeo, we see Dennis van Wijnbergen and Jean-Xin Zhu, but all doing good. And if we actually look at the weather, let's grab Windy here real quick and zoom in a bit, then you can see that the weather for them, for the Cape, yeah, so that's kind of this position, looks pretty good. So when they actually get to the Cape, which will be about a day and a half from now actually for them at their speed that they're doing, they'll be doing it in about 20 to 25 knots. So not exactly an easy Cape crossing, but I think they'll be okay. It's like a good fast crossing anyway. So that's kind of nice. And then if we go back to the tracker, we see that last but certainly not least, of course, Zabo doing good speeds right now, 9 knots, pretty light winds though, but on his way. So once he kind of gets his, makes his way through this kind of extension of the St. Helena High, he'll finally be able to really start his Cape grounding as well. And yeah, that's it for the show today. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to put your questions in the comments below. Questions for Conrad specifically in the comments below. Yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and see you all in 24 hours. Enjoy your day, Wolves. Ciao, ciao.